Well, I'm happy to announce that our 1500 ohm 5 watt resistors have arrived. I bought 10 of them in a pack. Pretty neat little deal, actually. And what we're going to do is we're going to install 2 of them. We're going to put one right here between these 2 resistors and right here between these 2 resistors. Now normally this is a 1420 ohm resistor, but I can't find a 1420 ohm resistor, so we're going with 1500. Well, there they go. All 5 of them are in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's look at it on the schematic so we kind of refresh everybody's memory here. We have, there's the 2 we just put in, the 1500 here and the 1500 here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Now this wire is hooked to this end, but I can't solder it because we have another wire coming in from here. And probably another wire coming in from here, and another wire coming in from over here. We got, you never, you know, it all depends on how it works out. But we do have to connect the wire here after we, you know, put the volume control in. This is the volume control. We'll look at that in a minute. This wire's in. I could probably go ahead and solder it. This wire's in. I could probably go ahead and solder it. But this one has to be done. And over here, we've got to bring in another wire through a cap that's in that can. We also have to hook a ground to here, because coming out of the can, what they're doing is looking for a ground. This whole thing is going to be a ground. This resistor has to be grounded. There's just several things we have to do. Now, looking at that volume control, let me back up here. We only have 2 pots in this whole chassis. One is the volume control, I just showed you right here. Connects to the cathode of the ABC tube, the 24. All right, slides up and down. And the other pot we have is the tone control, which is located up here. Okay, it slides up and down. Now, do you see any difference between those 2 pots? Take a close look at this one now. Now let's go down and look at the volume control and take a look at it. What difference do you see? Let's go back up to the tone control. The difference is, it looks like they might have forgot to complete the line over to here on the bottom of this pot. So I should probably go ahead and just, you know, probably one of those schematic mistakes you hear about all the time. I should probably just go ahead and color that in so I can show a connection. It's supposed to be like that. This one down here is connected to this line right here. See it? However, this one up here is not. It's floating around in midair. Well, let's take a look at the pot itself and see if, you know, I should have 3 connectors on here, right? 1, 2, and then of course oh my God, I can't even remember the name of it. Anyway, the tap, the slider, the glider to slider. Isn't that awful? I can't believe I can't remember the name of that thing. Anyway, I should have 3 connections. 1, 2, 3. Let's see if that's what we've got. Well, it finally dawned on me, folks. God, I hate it when I have brain farts like that. This is the wiper. It's the wiper, okay? Now, let's take a look at that, that pot. Now, here is the tone control. That is the tone control pot. And according to this, there is no connection here. According to what the schematic says, it's just free floating there. But there should be a connection here. So there should be 1, 2 connections. Let's look on the bottom of the pot and see what we've got. Get this lamp out of the way. Let me see. Let's turn it around and look at there. We only have 1, 2 connections, just like the schematic shows. Okay, the reason I'm pointing this out, and making kind of a big deal about it, is because don't automatically knee-jerk something like coloring in a line here that might be a schematic error or you think is a schematic error. Go look at it in the chassis. Find out what it looks like. This thing has 2 connections, and there's a reason for that. Because this thing on a schematic only has 2 connections, all right? One will go down and connect to pin 4. The other one will go inside the box that has the capacitors in it, okay? We're going to trace that out in a minute, but first I want to color in some orange. Yes, I do. I'm in an orange mood, folks. I am in an orange mood. Let's back up here. I said we did all of our resistors. Yes, we did. So let's go ahead and color this mess in. Ooh, I love it, I love it, I love it. All the way down. One big pile of resistors in there. Man, that's looking good down there already, huh? Yes, it is. All right, let's go back up to the top. Our pot has two connections. At least that's what the schematic says. And we only have two connections in the back of the pot, so it has to be right. One connection is here, and the other one would be here. Now this one is supposed to go into a capacitor inside the box. So let's see if we can find a line from that back of that pot that goes into that box. Let me see, here's one line from the pot. We follow it down. That's exactly where it goes. It goes up into that bundle of wires. Let me turn on the light here. There it is, goes into that bundle of wires right there. That's the wire right there going into that pot. All right, fine. We'll just go ahead and we'll color in an orange right now. If I can get my orange pen out. We'll color in one more orange. Let's do it this way. Let's color it here into the capacitor inside the pot. That's all we know right now. Now the other line, the other connection right here is supposed to come around and connect to pin 4, or the second connection on the back of the pot. It's supposed to come around and connect to pin 4 on the audio output tube. Let's get up here where we can see it a little better. That chassis is kind of sitting at an angle, so the old schematic don't want to stand up. Okay, there we go. It comes around and connects into pin 4 of the audio output tube. Let's follow the other side of that pot. Now here, this is the side that goes into the, let's turn off the light here, it's a little too light I think. This is the wire that goes down into the box. So the other side should go to pin 4 of the audio output tube. Let's follow it out. Where's up? Well, son of a gun, that's not pin 4 of the audio output tube. That's pin 3 of the RF tube. Alright, what's going on here? Now this is the kind of stuff that you're going to run into. The schematic clearly says that it's connected to pin 4 of the audio output tube. Right there it is. Comes off the pot, comes around. Clearly pin 4. So why is it connected to pin 3 way over on the other side of the schematic? It is connected, this is the RF tube, it's connected here. Man alive, that's clear to the other side of the schematic. Why is that? Alright, let's zoom in here. Let's find out. Let's find out why that is. Well, let's start with pin 3 on that RF tube. You know, right here. Right here. Pin 1, pin 2, pin 3. There's the wire. Let's start with pin 3 and find out what's going on here. Why would it be connected to pin 3 way over here when it's supposed to be connected way over there? Come on, give me a little focus here, camera. The camera doesn't want to cooperate too much tonight. I don't know what the deal is. Alright, here we go. Pin 3. Come down. Well, it goes into the oscillator tube. We don't want that. We're looking for a pot, not a tube. Comes across, goes up to the screen grid on this 35. That's not what we're looking for. Comes up to the screen grid on that 35. That's not what we're looking for. Well, let's go this way. We run out of lines up here. Let's go south. It comes down south. This line over here goes into the field coil. Nope, that's not what we're looking for. Field coil's on the speaker, by the way. So let's come down to the next one where this circle is. I put that there a while back for some reason. And let's continue on across. Now this circle here goes up to the plate on this 24 tube. Well, that's not what we're looking for. So let's keep going. Let's follow it around all the way up, all the way up. We're at the other side of the schematic. That's a good deal. All the way up. Look where it goes. Pin 4 on the audio output tube. Son of a gun. Now let me tell you what that means. It means that this electrical point here is the same as this electrical point here, is the same as this electrical point here, and 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 here, 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 and here. all the same electrical point, okay? I could have soldered this wire coming off this pot anywhere along that line. I could have soldered it anywhere. I could have soldered it right here. I could have soldered it over here. I could have soldered it here. It doesn't matter. For you young folks, it's called the same electrical point. There's nothing in between those that wire. There's no resistor, no capacitor, no nothing. All the same. All right, so here's what we have to do. Well, right now, I think what we better do, we're going to add a little more orange, but we're not going to make it orange all the way through, because just because it shows it on the schematic as being one solid line does not mean that, you know, we have a lot of dangling wires over here. None of this may even be hooked up yet, which would be, you know, this mess of crap here. So what we're going to do is go ahead and we're going to color in the pot. Then we're going to bring the pot over. I'm going to bring it down to pin 4. Okay? That's what we're going to do. Alright, so much for that baby. Tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to go ahead and check to see if this line here comes across as actually connected to pin 3. If it's still connected. You got to test it. Why not test it? That's why we have multimeters, okay? Alright, this is pin 1, 2, 3. Let's go ahead and connect our wire right there. That's pin 3 right there. Now what we're going to do is take our multimeter, set it on 200 ohms and get it so it will stand up. And we are going to touch pin 4 on the audio output tube, which is right here. This would be pin 1, 2, 3, 4. You watch the meter while I touch it. Touch. Nothing. Nothing at all. Okay, as suspected, the wire between those 2 points is still dangling in the chassis somewhere. We'll have to find it later. Alright, the next thing we are going to do, let's shut off our meter. We don't want to run down our battery. The next thing we need to check out is to see if the filament wires are connected to pin this says letter B, okay? This one says letter B. This one down here says letter B. This is your heater wires, often referred to as a filament. This is actually an indirectly heated cathode. This is actually a heater. This one up here is also a heater. Underneath the cathode, it heats up the cathode. Over here, this is a filament. It's a directly heated filament. A directly heated directly heated filament, okay? There is no cathode over the top of it. This is the cathode and the filament. Looks a lot different, huh? Okay, now they're labeled B. Now, you recall back when we started, these were labeled A. And A. And we looked up A. And there was another A. I think it was right here, yeah. But these are B. Now, what does that mean? Well, I'm fixing to show you. Now, most radios that I've worked on, they have a filament winding for the rectifier, separate from all the rest, okay? Because it usually runs about 5 volts. When the other filaments run, who knows, everything from 1 up to 6, up to 12. The 80 or your rectifier tube normally has a dedicated filament winding on the secondary of the power transformer, just like this one does, okay? Comes through here, it goes up, and comes down and around, all right? That's 5 volts, I believe, for the 80. And over here, early in the series, we discovered that this A, where some people say it's actually located on this side, as opposed to this side, they didn't have enough room to write it on the schematic over here, so they showed it up over here. Who knows, you know? That's all guesswork. Doesn't matter. All I know is it's all hooked up properly. Up here for the B, now this was A, remember? This was A and A. Now the B has a third filament winding right here. So this radio has 3 of them. Pretty cool, huh? And our job is to search these out and make sure that they are in fact connected. Now, of course, we're not going to be able to do it from here because I don't have the power transformer back in. But we can make sure that this one and this one and this one probably are connected together. And there should be some wire stubs somewhere to show where this winding was connected and where it will be reconnected once the power transformer is reinstalled. So let's see if we can find that. Let's wrap this whole video up here by checking out the filaments and make sure that they're connected properly to one another. We have the 24 to 47 and this 24 here. Now on the winding, I just indiscriminately numbered one side 1 and the other one 5. Pin 1, pin 5 of the tubes. Now this thing has a center tap that we'll look at later. Now up here on the 24 tube, it's got pin 1 and 5 is where I wrote it. On the 47, I had pin 1 and 5. And down here, I wrote pin 1 and 5. Well, let's find out if the 47 tube is actually pin 1 and 5 for the filament. Well, according to Frank's tubes on the internet, this is the 47 tube right there, and it is pin 1 and pin 5 for the filament. Okay, there it is, the RCA 47, or any number 47. Here is the number 24, and once again, our heaters are pin 1 and pin 5. Alright, everything is pin 1 and pin 5. They should all be connected together. Let's find out. You'll remember when we first started this thing and we were checking out the filaments that all pin 1s were connected together. Also down here. And all pin 5s were connected together as far as the heater goes. Well, if that's the case, then they probably followed the exact same procedure for the last remaining 3 tubes, not counting the rectifier. Pin 1 should be connected to pin 1, 5 should be, or pin 1 down here, and all the 5s should be connected together. And then somewhere on one of these 3 tubes, either on a pin 1 and a pin 5, is where this should be connecting. On one of these tubes. Okay? I don't know why my camera's having trouble focusing here tonight. But anyway, we'll find out. Let's get the multimeter set up on pin 1 of the second detector, and then see if I can show, oh, that must be wifey. And see if I can show continuity to pin 1 here on the audio output and the AVC. Let's go ahead and hook our multimeter up to pin 1 of the second detector, which is right here. That's pin 1. Now we're connecting it right here on the second detector. Right there on pin 1. Come on, baby, focus. Right there. Now we're going to test with our other lead and see if we have a connection there and down here, as I said, to pin 1s. Here we go. Let me see. So let's try the audio output tube, pin 1. There's pin 1. Here we go. Touch. We have continuity. Okay. Now let's go down to the AVC tube and test pin 1. Come on, baby. Get out of my way, everybody. There it is. We have continuity between all 3 number 1 pins on those tubes. Let's do the same for pin number 5. I have the multimeter set up for pin number 5, and that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is that one right there. Let's see if we can get it down a little further. Put it right there. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's check with pin 5 over here. Make sure, see what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There it is. Come on, show me some continuity. Boy, this thing's wiggly. Try it there. Okay. Now let's go down to the AVC tube and check pin 5 there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which would be that one right there. And there we go. We have continuity. We have continuity between those 3 pin 1s and those 3 pin 5s. Now we got to figure out, where do these 2 lines come in to those 3 tubes? Is it all in one tube, or is one line on one tube and one line on the other? Say like a pin 1 here and a pin 5 up here. It would all be the same since they're connected. Let's see. Let's find out. Alright folks, at this stage of the game you have to become a real good Pink Panther detective, okay? Very important. We know that the number 1 pins and the number 5 pins, you know, ones are connected to ones, 5s are connected to 5s, but somewhere, someplace, these 2 wires have to come into those tubes. Now it could be that there'll be one on pin 1 and one on pin 5 of the same tube. All the rest are connected, so it doesn't matter. Or it could be pin 1 on one tube and pin 5 on another tube. Again, it doesn't matter because they're all connected together. The 1s are with the 1s, 5s are with the 5s. Anywhere along the string of number 1s is the same electrical point. Remember what I showed you up here. Anywhere along the 5s, the same electrical point. Anywhere along the 1 is the same electrical point because they're soldered together. We already proved it. So let's go. It's got to be either, come on, focus camera. All right, it's got to be either this tube, or this tube that those windings connect to. Can't connect to the other tubes. They're already done. They're dedicated by another set of wires. So let's go to pin 1 right here of the audio output tube and see if we got anything. Well, all we got is a filament wire right there. Nothing more. We can eliminate that one. And let's look at pin 1 down here of the ABC tube. Now this is pin 1 of the ABC tube. Let's zoom in here a little bit and see what we got. Well, we've got some black wires down in there hooked to pin 1 right there. That's it right there. Got the black wire hooked in behind it. And we also have another wire coming off that's not black. Now this one here goes over to pin 1 of the other tube and up to the audio output transformer, you'll recall. This pin 1 right here. So let's follow this out and see where it goes. Well, it's a cut-off wire, and it has a bunch of black stitching in it. I don't know if that's what it was originally, but it has some black stitching along the wire. Well, that could be one of our transformer wires. That could be one, but we're not sure. So of the 3 pin 1s, this is the other pin 1 right here. Let me see, pin 1 is right here. This has a wire. No, this doesn't have a wire. That's just got a black wire right down in there. All it is, a couple of black wires. So the only oddball wire we have of the 3 number 1 pins on those 3 tubes is this one right here with the black stitching. Alright, that's pin number 1. Let's start out with pin number 5 and go through the same procedure, okay? Pin number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the output to what is this? Okay, again we have the black filament wire. What do we have here? Son of a gun. We have another little stub of wire sticking out with black stitching. Black stitching? Black stitching. I think we found both wires. But just to be sure, we're going to check pin 5 on this tube and pin 5 on this tube. And if there's nothing but black wires there, then we're going to wrap this video up. Here we go. Pin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get this out of the way. What do we have down here? All we have is black wires. That's it. Black filament wires. Alright, let's hope it holds out for the last tube. This is the second detector. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, nothing but black wires. Guess what, folks? They connected one side of this coil. Let me back up a little too close now. They connected one line of this coil to pin 1 right here. Right down in here. This is the pin 1. They did that on the ABC tube, okay? And then the other line right here, they connected to pin 5 of the audio output tube, which is right here. So that's how the filaments get their power, from that coil and that secondary coil. One here, one there, lights up the tubes, everything's good to go. I hope all that's clear. I hope it didn't confuse you. And what we're going to do is I think we can maybe color in some orange here. Yes, we can. Now we can't color in the winding because we haven't got the transformer back on, but we can sure color the stub line going there. And we know that this one here is good. 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 And this one here is good. Boy, this is great. And this one here is good. Okay? That's all cool. Next time we'll finish up checking a few wires here and come back down into this mess and see if we can't do something down here. I hope this video is not too long. Until next time, this is John.